The following is a fan-based parody. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super are all owned by Funimation, Toei Animation, Fuji TV, and Akira Toriyama. Please support the official release. Next time on Dragon Ball Super, Champa and the fighters from Universe 6 return for a rematch. In baseball? Tired of being useless for so long, Yamcha steps up to lead Universe 7 to victory. But how far will the Wolf Fang Fist take him? Be sure to subscribe to Surma 11 for more Dragon Ball Super fan dubs.
Hey guys, what's up? Surma 11 here, and
Multi-Sasuke X.
So yeah, we decided to do a collaboration on Dragon Ball Super. We're going to be doing English dub previews, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we will try to produce more of these in the future. So,
Okay.
So David, could you tell the people what you do on your channel, and maybe a few things about yourself before we, get started with the whole discussion?
So, on my channel, a lot of my stuff is Undertale related because I played Undertale. I like it, and I did a little bit of a YouTube Let's Play with a fellow YouTuber. She's actually listed on my channel, but that's for the most part what I do nowadays is Undertale stuff. I would like to do some voice work with Undertale stuff, and that's what my YouTube channel is, really.
Yeah, and hopefully, these discussions can bring people to your channel. They can see your voice work, and maybe if they're doing fan dubs for things such as Undertale, they could, get you on the team or whatever, and, you guys could make something awesome.
Yeah.
So, today we will be discussing Dragon Ball Super Episode 69, and also the preview for Episode 70 that you guys just saw at the beginning of the video. And with that out of the way, I guess we'll just jump right in. Is that fine with you, David?
Oh yeah, sure.
So, Dragon Ball Super Episode 69, Goku vs. Arale, a ridiculous battle in the Earth. And this episode showcases the return of Arale. And to start things off, David, what was your overall impression of this episode?
I mean, it was entertaining, but was it... There were parts of it that I disliked, such as Arale just cracking the earth in two, and it just makes a small little fissure in the screen we saw. When we saw it literally like split open like an egg, and no one thinks anything of that throughout the entire episode. At the end of the episode, when she just drives off, they're like, "Oh, okay, everything's good." She just cracked the earth in two.
I kind of feel like she outdid Frieza,
But one thing I did think was really interesting was seeing her fight. I loved seeing her fight because I played Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3 myself. I loved that game. And Arale is actually a character in that game. And in that game, you see a what-if saga if Goku and Arale met, and I felt like that was connected to this. A lot of the moves she did are moves you can do in the game, and I really like that.
It's funny because before this, I was kind of looking up the episode title, and it started off with Goku versus Arale, obviously, and that gameplay actually came up on YouTube, and I watched a little bit of that, and it was, as you said, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 with Kid Goku versus Arale and everything.
Yeah.
So, I think there was an anime special, too, in Dragon Ball, or maybe just an episode in Dragon Ball where they meet, and maybe that was something that they were referencing as well.
I mean, after I watched the video, I looked up about Goku and Arale, and I saw a few side-by-side comparisons of Arale then and Arale now. And aside from a few design differences, I noticed that a lot of the same things she did in the episode that they were now discussing, she also did in that earlier fight she did with young Goku. And I believe it was only a manga special, I think, though. Like the headbutt she did to Vegeta. She also did that to General Blue, if you remember who that is.
Alright, well, I guess you're talking to the viewers. I haven't seen it. Well, you already know that.
In Dragon Ball, there is a bad guy that is a part of the Red Ribbon Army that has blonde hair and blue eyes. He's General Blue.
So is he like Aryan or something?
Maybe.
But yeah, I thought the episode, like personally, I thought it was pretty bad. I can't really blame them. This is a filler episode, and to me, it seems like a lot of animes don't really give filler episodes that much attention. I don't understand like who are they hiring to like write these episodes, but to me, it was pretty bad. And when I see filler in anime, I almost feel like that I could write something better than what I just saw, you know?
I mean, when it comes to filler, it really depends on how they use it. Because obviously filler doesn't matter to the entire plot, but when it comes to filler, sometimes they can write something that means nothing in the moment. But later on, there's a filler that connects to it. Or later on, something that happened in the filler that seemed minor might be huge in the future. That's the weird stuff about filler, is it could mean something later. Obviously, this one does not mean anything at all.
Yeah,
because this is a crossover.
Plus, since the anime and the manga are kind of different, I feel like they can just like put something in filler and then like throw it in the episode later on, because I mean, it's not a manga original, so there isn't like the anime is the source material, so technically we could say that this episode isn't filler. It could be considered canon.
You see, if it were canon, that brings up a few questions.
Like what?
For example, why didn't Arale fight with the Z Fighters in anything ever? She could have easily whooped anyone's ass anyone's butt that ever fought on the show ever.
That reminded me of that meme that I probably shared it with you, of like the Z Fighters. I think they were about to fight the Saiyans, and it's like everyone up there, and then there's one where SpongeBob, where he has like the muscles and everything, like someone put him on there, and then there's another version of that picture with Obama on there.
But yeah, it's just, why didn't she fight Cell? Did she die in a certain part of a certain saga that you haven't watched, so I'm not going to spoil it for you?
Did she die in the Boo saga? That's what you wanted to ask.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I've already been spoiled on a lot of stuff in the Boo saga, so it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm going to watch it. It's coming out in January. I didn't really make a video on this announcement, but Boo Saga's coming to Toonami, and Dragon Ball Super is coming to Toonami, which is awesome news. But we kind of went off on a tangent there. Did you want to kind of like start, I guess, like going over a summary of the episode and then kind of like giving our thoughts as we go through that?
Sure, go ahead.
So this episode starts off with the Dr. Slump opening after the normal Dragon Ball Super opening. What did you think about that?
I'll be honest, I did not know that was the opening to Dr. Slump. After it ended, it kind of felt like it was an opening, but I wasn't sure until I read that article that I mentioned earlier, and it said that was the opening. And I was like, oh, okay. I see. I could see it, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Again, I don't want to be too negative, because it seems like I'm negative in a lot of videos, and people don't enjoy that, but I thought it was okay. I didn't really enjoy it that much, so I guess we'll move on from that. So Goku, he gets a part-time job in this episode as a bodyguard for this invention competition in which Bulma and Dr. Slump are in, and Goku, he has a different hairstyle for this part of the episode, which I thought was cool to have something different for once, because I don't think they've ever done anything with Goku's hair in Dragon Ball Z, GT, but finally in Super they've changed this hairstyle. I believe Vegeta was the only one that like majorly changed their hair, like in GT when he cut his hair off, well, cut part of his hair off and then grew like this weird mustache, and it was a really weird look, but yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, because it wasn't until Goku started to talk that I noticed that it was Goku. I really thought it was just some random bodyguard, and then he started to talk. I was like, oh, it's Granny Goku. I should have easily been able to see that from that face.
Grandma Goku. But I kind of heard about it because they released sketches of Goku and Vegeta from this episode, and they even released sketches for the next episode. So I don't, or character models. I don't know why they're doing that, but you have the character models, you have descriptions. So I kind of knew about it.
I mean, I can figure out why they would do something like that.
I guess
to gain interest and make someone want.
Or so people
episode.
Or so people
like
can
for
make
for Goku.
Sorry.
To see where Goku in changing into a suit and doing the bodyguard shtick, it felt weird for me because he often does things that Chi-Chi forces him to do, but usually he's not so like quick to quit about it. I mean, he's usually very apathetic about doing anything that's not fighting, but for him to just quit like that, it felt kind of out of character. But it's filler, so.
Yeah, it's filler. Who cares about canon, right?
One thing that I did feel was very canon was Hercule acting like a champ each time he sees one of the Z fighters nearby.
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. It's a reoccurring joke. Again, I don't want to sound super negative, but I'm rewatching Kai right now, and I don't like Hercule's character at all. You know, since he like takes credit for everything or acts like he's like such a big deal, and then Cell knocks him out in like one hit.
Right.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll just move on. Kind of a side note, I didn't know that this guy was Dr. Slump. I've never seen him before. I've never watched Dr. Slump or read it. And I thought that Arale was Dr. Slump, since that's the only character that I've ever seen be associated with the Dr. Slump name.
So, for me, I knew that Arale wasn't Dr. Slump. I figured Dr. Slump was her inventor, but I didn't know that it was his character that was Dr. Slump.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nickname for him.
Yeah, he said that it was a nickname that his transgressors gave him. You know, his enemies would call him Dr. Slump, like a mean nickname, I suppose. Again, for like Raleigh, same with anything no. I learn names.
Buy the video games. Don't watch the anime. Just play in the video games.
Kai for Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball is pretty long. I think it's 150 something episodes.
It's very long.
I know part of it's filler, but still, it's a long series. I might watch that one day though.
Yeah, I've seen clips and bits and clips of Dragon Ball though.
Yeah.
Like when Goku destroys the entire Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I remember the joke from Dragon Ball Abridged, where they have the video of 16 making a video to his dad. Yeah,
and you hear Goku in the background, Kame. I was like, oh, that's dark. That's really dark.
It was so good though. Their writers are really good.
Now we're going off on a tangent, but just to say it though, it really shows why their videos as of recent have taken longer, because they're putting more animation in addition to the original video that they're editing.
Yeah, they actually had someone animate that for them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of full scale animations like that and little animations.
Yeah. Yeah, I like watching their channel and everything. I'm not sure if I've seen every episode, but I'll definitely try to get down to like watching all of that, because I don't even remember when I jumped in for that series, but I've seen a lot of the episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just keep going. So Dr. Slump, he ends up winning this competition, and then he presents this machine. I forgot the name, but this machine, it makes whatever the user has the greatest desire for. So he gets a magazine of young gals, as they described it, and then Mr. Satan gets a toy of himself. And the machine, to me, it sounds pretty broken, like the Dragon Balls, you know.
Now, this might give the viewers an image of who I am. But when I saw that part of the video, I was so certain that it was going to be a magazine like that. I knew it was going to be a Sports Illustrated or a Playboy magazine. I knew it was going to be one of those.
A joke like that is just so Toriyama.
Because when it said what you most desire, I'm like, now I know, I see where this is going. When it was Mr. Satan, I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, like lots of money or a magazine with him on the front, because I know he's so full of himself.
Or him having like actual powers and being able to do something in a fight. Or being a useful character.
You see, he takes all of the fame and fortune that the Z Fighters would have been weighed down with.
Yeah, because who needs money, right?
Yeah, they don't need money.
Yeah.
He's
not like they have lives.
He's a farmer.
He is. Or
Bulma is a billionaire.
Yeah, Goku's
family is farming. Krillin is a police officer.
And then Tien
lives by himself.
Does Piccolo live by himself?
All he needs to sustain himself is water.
I thought it was implied that he like lived with Gohan because it seems.
I thought it was implied that he hangs out with Gohan.
Yeah, every day.
He hangs out with the different kids. He really likes kids.
No
like he was taking care of. Don't. I mean, I'm not spreading rumors, but he did spend a whole year with Gohan. Anyway, so
yeah, back to the episode. Dr. Mashirito, I believe that's his name, he ends up interrupting this ceremony, and what I really loved about this scene was that Dr. Slump, he literally pulls out a volume of the Dr. Slump manga to confirm that this guy died at the end of the manga.
I love that part, because it really felt like it was breaking the fourth wall. I was like, this guy bought a book of his own series.
He's like, you're dead. You should not be here right now.
And seeing Dr. Mashirito break out of hell to get there also felt very weird. How does some scientist, I don't know, I've not seen or read Dr. Slump, so I don't know just how great Dr. Mashirito was, but it looks like he is just a human with, great scientific brain. How did a human get out of hell when Frieza, Cell, and the Ginyu Force and all those bad guys are still in hell?
Dr. Mashirito confirmed for OP character.
Clearly.
But, at first when I saw the scene, I guess I wasn't really paying that much attention because I did rewatch the scene for the sake of this discussion. At first I thought they were the same character. Like, I literally thought they were the same character, and then one just had like a different name or something.
What, Dr. Slump and Dr. Mashirito?
Yeah. Because at first their character designs look like extremely similar.
It's anime.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's the thing with a lot of anime is a lot of the characters look the same, basically. The only real difference is their hairstyle.
Well, it really depends on the artist. I've noticed...
In a lot of anime, I mean.
It depends on the artist, to me. So, like, I would say Dragon Ball has pretty varied character designs. But a more recent example would be like Black Clover. I don't think you've read that, but I feel like some of the character designs in Black Clover look very similar, and some of the characters have like similar facial structures and like similar eyes and stuff. That's one example. But
I mean, as for Dragon Ball Z and characters looking the same, there are two ideas that immediately come to mind. And one, I understand, Goten and Goku.
I was gonna say that.
I mean, that one's a bit obvious because it's his kid, but so I'll let that. I've given that one a pass because it's his kid. But
I think Trunks and Future Trunks look similar,
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Didn't you think that was weird?
Yeah, it's weird.
A little. I did think that Yamcha and Gohan look very similar to one another. Gohan, when he's in the World Tournament in the Buu Saga, looks
high school Gohan.
Yeah, High School Gohan
And then Yamcha when he
looks
cuts his
identical
hair.
to short-haired Yamcha, as
Yeah,
in
I can see
Yamcha
that.
from the Cell games.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And to backtrack a little bit, and also to go a little bit more off topic, I really liked in the earlier episodes when we knew that Mai had a crush on future Trunks.
Hmm.
I thought it was adorable to see Trunks have a crush on future Mai.
You talking about Kid Trunks or Future Trunks?
Kid Trunks.
Yeah.
Remember when he saw her and he started blushing?
Yeah, that's a weird relationship because
Very weird.
I know they wish to be younger, but like mentally, aren't you like 30, 40, and you're flirting
I think
with
she's
a
in her
child?
50s.
In your 50s, like you're flirting with a child, like that's not okay.
She's not though. She really has not been like, how should I say this? She's been like really accepting the feelings of Trunks, but she's never, gone after him really.
Hmm.
And especially the whole Future Trunks saga in Dragon Ball Super, she was so like laser focused on Future Trunks that she didn't give Trunks any attention.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man. But when I saw that, I thought to myself, I'm like, they're gonna look forward to each other when they grow up. Which also made me wonder, do you think the Pilaf gang is going to grow up?
It depends on how far Super goes. I know a lot of people have like theories and stuff, but we really can't know what they're gonna do with these characters. But I personally hope there's a time skip, and I personally hope they go after the ending of Dragon Ball Z because
I was wondering if they were going to have a time skip. I mean,
because
Goku and Vegeta were in the hyperbolic time chamber for, was it 3 years?
Yeah, they were in there for 3 days, so 3 years real life.
They came out with beards and stuff and smelling all nasty.
Yeah, I want Goku and Trunks to fight with them. Because every time they're like, no, you're too young, and obviously they're not powerful enough to fight any enemies now, so I want more characters to be involved, and I guess like that's been a common complaint with Super in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dr. Mashirito, he ends up controlling Arale, which we don't really get to see happen. I think he gave him like some bad food or something.
What he did was he gave Arale and the Gachans this elixir that turned up their urge to play like 200%.
Mm-hmm. And then Vegeta, he got...
Sorry, but if I remember correctly, from what I've seen, Arale and the Gachans love to play a lot already. Mm-hmm. Dr. Slump has a hard time controlling them as is. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess Vegeta, he sees this, he kind of gets involved. I think Dr. Slump tells him not to, or like he might, like be careful basically. And Vegeta ends up getting beat up. Goku, he wakes up to this, he sees Arale, and they kind of remember that they've met each other before, but, they don't know that much about each other, and they're like, huh, who is this, or something like that. And then Vegeta, he ends up getting knocked away, and Goku and Arale fight for a little bit, but what I didn't like about this fight was that it didn't seem serious enough. And I think for a filler episode, if you just add in a good fight, the quality of the episode will go up, so...
Yeah. It really... Yeah, I agree with that, because I did like, however, Goku and Arale's beam struggle. Mm-hmm. I liked the concept of it, but the execution was a little weird, that her blowing some air out of her mouth was equal to a Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha.
Well, I think it's just one of those characters, just like, it's powerful for the sake of being powerful.
Yeah, she is a gag comic character, so...
Kind of like One Punch Man, basically.
That's what she was. She was One Punch Man.
I think that's a pretty good comparison. So, Bulma, she tries to get Beerus to help them. And I know this was mentioned before, I think a few episodes ago, but they really should stop depending on Beerus. He's kind of a plot device that can be used to fix things in the story, so... stop depending on him. maybe put them in a situation where they can't get to Beerus, or Beerus is in trouble or something, so they can't ask him or Whis for help. I'd like to see that perhaps in the next arc.
Well, when I see this, and I've noticed that, logically, it would make the most sense to try to go to the strongest person if you and your friends can't deal with it. But for the sake of the story, Beerus really shouldn't be the person they should call on, because Beerus, he himself has said, is not really on their side. He doesn't really care if they die so much. The only reason why he cares in the first place is because of the food. Now, I noticed that he's been gradually, warming up to them.
Mm-hmm.
But still, if any of one of them crosses him, he won't hesitate to destroy them.
Yeah, but I think what you brought up earlier is a really good point. It's just the fact that we have these powerful characters in the story, and you could say maybe they're not friends, but they're acquaintances or something, and they can go to Beerus for help, just offer him some food or something, and he'll help them out. So I just feel like they can go to Beerus whenever they want, and I think that's a problem where they introduce characters stronger than Goku and Vegeta. Because there's always going to be someone stronger. If Goku and Vegeta can't beat them, Beerus can beat them. Or Whis can beat them, but I don't think Whis can fight. Yeah, Whis is, I think, yeah, it was mentioned that Whis can't.
Whis can fight, but he won't fight.
Well, I meant like he's able to fight, but he's not supposed to.
They're not really supposed to fight at all, really. They don't care so much about what happens to other people. I'm surprised that Beerus even helped at all with the whole Future Trunks Zamasu thing. I think he only did that because it was a god problem.
Yeah.
And I got one moment, please. I got a little lost just now.
Okay.
Cut out this whole part of the episode.
I was planning on not listening to this because this is starting to get long, but sure, I'll cut it out. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, go to the next part.
Okay. So Goku and Arale, they're charging up their attacks, and then Dr. Slump, he has the invention make poop to distract Arale for a little bit. And I'm guessing this is a joke from Dr. Slump. I'm pretty sure I've seen Arale poking poop with a stick before, so I'm guessing that's a common joke from the series.
From what I have seen of Dr. Slump, I do remember seeing the poop on a stick. And I know that I think poop on a stick is an item you can get in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. So
it comes full circle.
And I remember from what I've seen in a lot of Japanese anime and manga, poop on a stick is a very funny thing for them.
Yeah, they have some weird jokes in Japan, like the whole thing from Naruto, like with what is it, the
secret finger technique?
Yeah, secret finger jutsu or something.
Was it
it's called
the
Kancho.
secret finger technique of 1,000 deaths?
It's like 1,000 years of death or 1,000 years of pain or something.
Yeah, 1,000 years of pain, 1,000 years of death. That's what it is, I think.
So that's an actual thing in Japan where they like take their fingers and poke someone in the butt, and then they say Kancho, and that's weird. That's so weird. Like, I feel like if you did that in America as a child, like, you get beat up.
Well, the culture is so different between here and there.
So we can go to Japan and just, walk up to someone and be like, haha, Kancho, and then run away?
I mean, we're Americans, so... But it's like, when I think of that, one thing I think of similar is, like, drunk people at parties, especially in college. Mm-hmm. If someone passes out, then they get graffiti written all over their faces. Mm-hmm. Just profanity and nasty symbols, and that's considered culturally acceptable to people who are awake in the party. So, I think of it like that.
So, Bulma, she starts filming the invention on TV, and then she has everyone in the world, or whoever's watching, imagine, like, the most delicious, amazing food, and the device makes that food, and Beerus, he comes immediately. I think he even smells it or something, or he senses it, and then he tries the food, and it was like this little ball, and with all these different foods, I guess, like, comprising it or something. And he ends up using the destruction technique on, he ends up using the destruction technique on Dr. Mashirito, and he almost kills Arale, but he gets a stomach ache, and then he has to leave. And that was probably from all the different foods being mixed into like one small little ball.
Honestly, when he had the stomach ache, I thought there was some like Mexican food in there, some stuff that would make you go to the restroom. Like, I wonder how many people were just, thinking of eating at Taco Bell, or I can't remember that one place that starts with a Q that everyone goes to, the restaurant.
Qdoba?
Yeah, Qdoba. And I did think it was weird that Bulma was able to get everyone to wish for that. It felt like the spirit bomb, but in food form. It was
her own version of the spirit bomb.
And I was surprised that everyone did that, because honestly, they probably should have done what they did to Vegeta. The whole, what? I'm not going to listen to her. I thought that they were going to have Hercule do it,
I guess you could say Beerus had a spirit bomb later on, if you know what I'm saying.
So anyway, I thought I did find it a little weird, but again, this is a gag comic filler episode. A little weird that Beerus showed up immediately, and Whis is like, "Man, I've never moved that fast before." And I thought to myself, Whis, doesn't Beerus want you to go as fast as possible each and every time y'all move anywhere?
Yeah, he probably does.
And now to bring it up, it makes me wonder, why doesn't everyone know the Kai Kai? Do you know what the Kai Kai is?
Yeah, it's a technique the Kais use.
Yeah, it's
been in Super before. I've seen it.
Yeah, Supreme Kai does it, and I wonder to myself, how many of the Kais know how to do the Kai Kai?
I mean, a lot of things in Super don't make sense, like the whole god hierarchy, like how there's the Kais, the Supreme Kais, and then there's the gods of destructions, and then there's like angels, and then there's like the Omni King. It's too much stuff going on.
Well, I feel like that really gave us a bridge into seeing more of the universe, because I remember when I was playing the games as a child, and I remember playing Dragon Ball Budokai, which I believe ends at Cell. And I think one of the highest things I saw on there, I think I saw King Yima, and I thought he was such a big and, like, whoa, this is what a god looks like. He's way huger than Goku, he's huge, and he decides the fates of anyone who shows up. And Kami, the the guardian of Earth, had to talk to King Yima just to get Goku permission to keep his body and have him go down the spirit way. Mm-hmm. And seeing all the different inhabitants that actually live in Otherworld, like the Snake Princess, and King Kai, he's King Kai. He's the king of all the Kais. What I remember seeing back then, I thought he was this huge guy teaching Goku the Spirit Bomb, and then each and every single saga they add more and more onto it.
I just don't like it because I thought it was weird that, like, Whis can turn back time. Beerus can destroy things. Only the Supreme Kais can use the earrings or the time rings or something like that. It seems weird that, like, the lesser gods have techniques that the higher gods don't have. That's what I kind of had a problem with.
Such as what?
What did you say?
Such as what?
I said Supreme Kais being able to use the time rings, and then the other people above them not being able to use time rings, and having time travel being like this whole like illegal thing, pretty much.
The thing with the time rings is you're allowed to use the rings. The purpose of the time rings is to see what will happen or see what has happened. You're not supposed to affect anything in those timelines. Mm-hmm. That is one of the major reasons why Goku Black and Zamasu were such a bad couple there because they were using the time rings to do evil. They were affecting things. Didn't Zamasu kill one of the monsters that they saw in the future?
Yeah, and then Gawasu was telling him like not to kill him, and then he ended up doing it anyway because he thought they were like lower or something and barbaric and all that.
Zamasu has had some issues. Some serious issues.
He had a lot of issues. But we have gotten off topic a lot, but we're almost done. So things end up being resolved in the episode, and the episode ends with Vegeta in a tree on or a branch or something on a cliff, and he's just hanging there, and he's talking about how he'll never fight a gag comic character again. And this was kind of a reoccurring joke he made in the episode. I believe he was breaking the fourth wall a lot when he was fighting Arale, and we had that. So I guess we kind of already went over this, but what were your overall thoughts on the episode?
Again, I liked it, and there were some, parts that made me think, really? But this was a gag episode, so I guess those things that I poked fun at they don't really mean much when this isn't supposed to be taken so seriously. This is a gag episode, and it's filler. And it's a crossover between a gag manga / anime. And a few other things I noticed in that article I had seen that showed the side-by-side of the then and now. A lot of the things Arale did in the past, she also did in this episode. For example, at that end there, where Vegeta's hanging on the tree branch in the middle of hanging off a cliff, that looks almost identical to Bulma when she was hanging off of a tree branch or something. I don't know what she was saying because it was in Japanese what I'd seen, but it was a parallel to what happened in anime, and I wonder just how many things were practically the same.
Yeah, it seems like they like to do a lot of callbacks in Dragon Ball Super. There's just certain things that I'm not picking up on because, again, need to watch Dragon Ball or read it, and again, I need to finish up the Buu saga. So,
one thing I did find interesting though, when I was playing the game Tenkaichi 3, and I did the What If saga where Goku and Arale meet, if I remember correctly, Goku and Arale were around the same strength. And I think in the manga, when they fought, I'm pretty sure they're probably around the same strength. So for Goku, as a kid, to fight Arale and them be the same strength, what on earth happened to Arale in those few years that she was able to be so strong?
She must have gotten God Key or something,
Obviously, she had some upgrades. New iOS system.
Yeah. But
her head still pops off though, so that's creepy.
Yeah.
It's actually terrifying.
I would
if you fought a kid that was like whooping everyone and their head pops off, what do you do?
I don't know. It was funny because in the preview, the preview for this episode, it almost was like a murder mystery or something. Or like an accidental murder, like, oh, Vegeta, you killed Arale. What are we gonna do? You killed a child.
I love how even Vegeta was like, "Hey man, I didn't mean to do it. It's not my fault. I wasn't trying. I didn't try to kill a kid." I'm like, Vegeta, how many thousands have you killed?
But yeah, I mean this in the most polite way. I respect Akira Toriyama. I love Dragon Ball from the bottom of my heart, but I feel like his comedy series or just like some of the jokes just aren't as good as what is presented in Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball is a shonen. Like I like some of the jokes in Dragon Ball. Well, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z, but I like some of the jokes in there. But I also like the action, and I like how he was able to mix those things. But he seems to really take pride in his comedy. But to me, his comedy just isn't that funny. And I've read a little bit of Dragon Ball, and I was actually turned off by how silly Dragon Ball was.
For me, I think that with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z's comedy, it's kind of hit and miss. For example, a few things that I really loved with the comedy in Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball. When Krillin is about to go and fight against Golden Frieza and his soldiers, and Android 18 is telling him, I'm stronger, I should go. And he's like, no, you protect our daughter. I'll go fight. And he goes, and she's like, he's such a brave, she says, he's so cool. And that's hilarious, because when I was growing up, I thought Android 18 was like the coolest character in the show. Piccolo was like the Batman of the show, but she was really cool from what I remembered. To see her call Krillin cool. And I always thought of Krillin as like being like kind of like a goofball, kind of comic relief. Now, after watching Dragon Ball Kai recently, he's not comic relief, obviously, but from what I remembered, I always thought he was like the best friend that died a lot. And but I imagine this whole comic relief thing has only been perpetuated in my mind because of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. And I'm sad to say that, but that is probably the case.
I feel like he's comic relief at points, but I can't really reference anything right now. I remember one moment where, remember when Gohan and Goku are Super Saiyan like 24/7. They're just chilling in Super Saiyan form, and I believe Goku and Krillin are just like fishing or something. And Goku, I guess he was taking a nap. Krillin, he picks up a rock and he's just thinking, hey, I bet, Goku, he's in a Super Saiyan form, I bet he'll like catch this rock or deflect it or something. And he throws it and it hits Goku in the forehead and he's like, ouch, he actually gets hurt from that. And he's like, what the heck is wrong with you? And all that.
Yeah, I remember that. I think his logic was, man, he's in Super Saiyan, I bet this won't even hurt him at all. And if I remember correctly, what all that was, the reason why I hurt him at all was because what they were doing was they were like suppressing the energy. They weren't letting it, permeate. So since they were suppressing their energy, like hiding their power level, they were just normal dudes. So getting hit in the head with a rock would hurt if you were just a normal guy. Mm-hmm. And an example of that in reverse, I guess, for the comic relief, Krillin asking Goku to punch him in the face.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He went flying.
Dragon Ball Super. He went flying for, I imagine, miles. I think he went through a few rock faces. Yeah. I think he even went through someone's house.
Yeah, the power gap is getting bigger with each episode, I would say.
However, this is an aside to the whole comic thing. When 18 was taking care of Krillin after he got punched in the face, there's a little moment that you see where she's, dabbing him on the face with the cotton swab, and she's smiling. That's a nice little moment there. A nice little, family, she's happy with Krillin moment there. I thought that was nice.
Mm-hmm. And to continue going off the topic, I think the moment where Goku, he loses the fight to Frost in the tournament, and the first one to come down there is Chi-Chi. I thought that was a really good moment between the two, because we don't really see them showing that much care for each other in the series.
Yeah, I think Super has done a superb job of really world building, mm-hmm. showing the different characters caring for each other, especially the Vegeta flipping out because Beerus smacked Bulma. My Bulma!
Yeah, that was a good moment.
I think Vegeta really shines when he acts like that because of a family member.
When he acts like a decent person?
Yeah. When in the Cell Saga, when Trunks gets shot through the chest by a death beam from Cell, and Vegeta freaks the frack out and starts trying to beat up Cell. And I just recently played another game and I think it showed more dialogue for Vegeta being upset that Trunks, got shot through the chest.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying, "How could I have just sat here and watched Trunks almost die? It's not too late. I will, redeem myself. I am the Prince of all Saiyans." And I thought little moments like that are nice.
Well, it's not like they could have stopped Cell, because as soon as he came back, he killed one of them, and he killed Trunks, so, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, he didn't kill Trunks. He badly wounded him.
Yeah, some moments
Shitsu Bean!
Some moments in Dragon Ball are kind of weird. It's like, oh, you got shot in the chest. He's dead, and everyone's, like, shocked and everything. No, Senzu Bean, he's alive.
It takes a while for your brain to stop fully functioning. Anyway, so...
Yeah, sure. So, we're probably going to end this off. This is a long discussion. Hopefully, our later discussions will be shorter, but we're just going to quickly talk about the preview for episode 70. So, in the preview, we see that Universe 6 and Universe 7 are having a baseball game. That's an awesome concept already. And Yamcha, I believe you know more about this, but he played baseball in Dragon Ball Z, so he'll probably have like a major role in this episode.
Yeah, I'm imagining that it's actually Yamcha that suggested that they play baseball.
It would be cool if he was like the main character for the episode.
I think that I'd love for Yamcha to be the focus, and I think this would be a great time for him to shine.
Mm-hmm. And maybe he can win Bulma back. I mean, anything's possible.
He has to get that check from somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh man. Actually, sorry, but just aside here, I think Yamcha and Bulma broke up because Yamcha was fiddling with other women.
Was that what happened?
I think so, yeah.
I thought they just kind of broke up and then,
they were going on and off because Yamcha was messing with other chicks.
Oh, well, I guess then it's kind of understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, from the preview, we can see that Frost and Hit are nowhere to be found. Hit, obviously, probably wouldn't be on the baseball team due to the next arc. He's going to be trying to kill Goku because he's been hired by someone. And I mean, Frost is evil, so he probably shouldn't be allowed in the first place. And we see that Vegeta is playing for Champa's team, probably because they don't have enough players. I believe Trunks is in the mix, maybe Goten. So a few of the characters that didn't really get to participate in the tournament, they're going to play baseball, so that'll be cool. I guess, what do you think about this concept?
Again, I like it. I am interested to see where they're going to go with this. I'm interested to see what the stakes are. Like, what's the consequence of one team winning or the other? And based on how big of it is, it could go either way. If it's a huge thing, I imagine, of course, Universe 7 is going to win. But if it's something small, then it could be either or.
I kind of hope the next arc just takes them to Universe 6, and maybe they have to go visit Cabla's planet or Magetta's planet or something. I think that would be a good way to like introduce Universe 6's world, basically.
And I'm wondering if they're ever going to address the fact that Vegeta should be the king of all Saiyans.
So what, he's going to come to Cabla's planet and become the king?
No, like, if they would do, like... I just thought about it now because you mentioned Cabla's planet. Because, technically, Vegeta is the king of all Saiyans.
In his universe.
Huh?
In his universe, I'd say.
Well, yeah. Because his dad died, and kings and princes work the way they do because there's a dad that's there as the king.
Mm-hmm.
Trunks is prince now.
Well, I think Vegeta's called Prince because he never got the role.
Yeah, officially.
And I mean, all the Saiyans are dead anyway, so who would he be king of?
Like 3-4 people.
I don't even think they wouldn't even care.
Hey man, he has that pride, man.
I don't think he cares anymore.
He cares. It's his pride.
Yeah, he's Prince of all Saiyans. That's all he'll be.
The Saiyans are a true warrior race. Don't underestimate them. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess like the final thing I want to cover is just like they're going to be using the powers in the game. So hopefully That'll be interesting. And I guess that'll end off the discussion unless you have anything else to end or anything else to add.
Again, my name is MultisauceX, and you can find me in the description of this video. He's going to leave a link to my channel.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah. I can get all that information after I put the video up and all that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed our first discussion. It kind of went on longer than I wanted it to go. We kind of went on a lot of tangents. We're going to work on that for the next video because I wanted this to be under 20 minutes. And this video is almost at 50. So, thanks for watching, if you made it this far. So, anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. The links are below. I'm Sirmo11. See you next time, and peace out.
See you in the next episode. Bye! I know you already cut it off, hopefully.
No, I didn't cut it off.
Oh, no.